viewers, those who don't know Acholi, of course, the topic that we've been talking about is about Acholi marriage, of course. As all of you know, these days the price, skyrocket, and it scares some of Acholi guys of, going to, engage with our ladies, to get married. So I'm here with Fred Otim. He's been to a lot of marriage. He knows a lot of, actually, marriage. He don't know everything, of course, but, he know a lot, So I talked to him, in Acholi. If you can summarize what we talk about, basically what we talk about is, ways of, before how marriage was, and then, how these days marriage become, expensive, and also what can be done, in order to, make it affordable for our Acholi guys. So, Mr. Fred, for those who don't, understand Acholi, if you can, summarize what we've been talking about. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dominic Onen. As I said before in Acholi, my name is Fred Otim, and he just repeated it. I've been here in the US for more than 10 years, and I went back home. I've been home for the last two years. So I just came back now to visit, and then Onen brought up this issue of marriages in Acholi. I have explained a lot in dialect, but I will just summarize briefly in English for the sake of those who do not really get Acholi at all. Because I know there are a lot of Acholi boys and girls out there that really do not understand Acholi. They might be able to listen a few things, but most of the things they don't know. Yeah, the issue of marriage in Acholi is becoming a serious and a tough issue. Boys and girls are not able to get together anymore as it used to be, and this is mainly associated to the demands that come up when a girl and a boy want to get together. As I said, in Acholi, there is a lot of things that Acholi borrowed from other tribes in South Sudan. There are a lot of things that we did not used to have. But because other tribes are doing it, it has compelled or made other parents also start doing it. We have issues like opening the door. This is something that used not to be there. It just started maybe 15, 20 years ago. But before that, there wasn't anything like that. So this issue of, coming up with very high figures just for opening a door so that you can go in is, something I personally think is not right. Yeah. Because what is to happen is that those who come to welcome you and take you in, is what you give is an appreciation for the welcome they've done to you. So it shouldn't be something that is demanded, and it should not be very high. So this is one thing that I feel that they actually borrowed this from other tribes. And then there are things that they also borrowed, like the lamps. I know there was not these kind of things in Acholi, because sometimes back, people used not to discuss any marriage issues at night. So all marriage issues are done during the day where you see faces. It is either in the morning hours, where we call Nyango, early morning hours all the way up to 11, or late in the evening. It goes on until when it begins to get dark, everything should have already been done. Now when it gets dark, that's only the entertainments only, no more discussions. Because when you discuss issues like that, you should be able to see who is saying, or who is talking, or who is doing what. Yeah. But as soon as it's done, or it gets dark, no more discussions. This is one thing that people borrowed because the issue of the lamp started coming in. The other tribes prefer discussing these things at night. As such, they demand that who's coming to marry, you bring a lamp. The lamp, of course, would be using kerosene. Because you come with the lamp, with the kerosene, the matchbox, because you are required, to light the lamp so that people can see what's happening. So those are some of the things that has been borrowed. And also there are issues like the adultery fine. As I said in Acholi, if you're here in the US or in any other part of the world that is not where the lady is, okay, there shouldn't be anything called adultery fine. Because a fine is meant, to punish someone for having done something in the wrong way. Yeah. So this is one thing also that is not right, though in Acholi it's there. But of late, I've seen, because people have been now traveling, people go all over the world, and you find that you are here, or you're in Australia, in Canada, in Europe, anywhere, but you want the lady from home. Somebody links you up, you get to know each other, you start dating, and then in the end, you decide you want to marry. You are not physically there, you send money, and your relatives there add up, they go to the marriage. You find they're being charged adultery fine, something that is not right. Okay? If you are in the same place, maybe the girl and the boy are all in the same place, yes, people can assume, okay? You can assume that, maybe they've been dating, they've done things that, is not supposed to be done. It will be a little result. But if the boy and the girl physically have not met, there shouldn't be anything called adultery fine. In Acholi, what I used to know were only mainly four things. This adultery fine, because you will be physically there, and then the girl will physically come to your home or to your parents' home. That's when the adultery fine comes in. And then the appreciation for the mother, which they call aporopa minatin. Others call it the mother's milk. Okay, just appreciation to the mother of the girl. This used to be there. And then finally, what they call a year ken. A year ken is, some amount of money that you give to say, I want this money. Okay, so this is the main thing that used to be paid before people go to discuss anything to do with dowry. In addition to a he-goat and a she-goat that normally they bring, the she-goat will be kept alive, and the he-goat will be slaughtered, and then the parents of the girl and the relatives, they give their blessings to the girl. Yeah. These are things that are done, apart from the real discussion of the dowry, because this is not considered dowry. Yeah. The things that I mentioned, these are not part of the dowry. The dowry is now the real, physical, either money, cash money is involved, which normally they will ask any amount, and then there's goats, and some, few families in Acholi also keep cattle, so they might ask also cattle. These are the three major things. And in the old days also they ask things like hoes, bows, and harrows, and things like that. So these are the main things associated with dowry. And these are things that, if the marriage breaks up, it should be returned. It will be returned to the person who married. This is basically what happens in marriages of Acholi. But as of now, there are a lot of things that actually borrowed, from neighboring countries, which or other neighboring tribes of Acholi, and others also got from other far places, which I think if we really want to keep Acholi intact, we want our boys and girls to continue to marry themselves, so that we keep the Acholi traditional cultures and identity, then parents. This specifically is issue of parents, okay, especially girls' parents. I personally believe that as parents, if it is left for the father of the girl or the mother of the girl, to ask a dowry, it wouldn't be, that high. It is the influence of the people around the parents that always makes the bride price or these kind of things go very high. Because everybody would want a cake out of it. So if you have to get a cut out of it, then you have to ask more. So this is actually what's happening. But they don't look at the consequences of what is happening or what they are doing now. It's not very good. This issue of opening the door is an appreciation, And then the issue of the mother's milk or whatever in Latin is an appreciation. So it should not be exaggerated. The issue of school fees, yes, that's it's normal, because if you go pick a girl from school, that means you have destroyed her future. The parents will not be able to get anything anymore. So what you pay them is meant to compensate them for the time that they paid her school fees, or though it actually cannot be compared anyway, but it's also an appreciation. It should be something reasonable. And the dowry, as I said, is negotiable, of course. It has to be something also reasonable. So I really appreciate that the youth, in the conference in Baltimore, were able to come up with very good resolutions, and believe that this resolution will be backed up by the Acholi community in South Sudan, because they also took the issue very seriously. When I was there, they formed a committee, and this committee is working towards harmonizing the issue of the marriages, what need to be paid, and how much should be paid, so that these things are harmonized. It is like, it becomes like a guideline or a law, so that nobody goes out of it. So the committee has been working, and I believe by now maybe they have a resolution. So the resolution will go down to the chiefs, and then it has to be passed and become a law, so that people don't go out of line. So I'm really having high hope that this will be resolved, and our boys and girls will be able to get together and marry in a way that they don't get discouraged. So it's better of time these things will be resolved. But specifically, I would urge issue. This is not the issue of the youth or anybody, but the issue of parents. Those who have girls, those who have boys, please, be considerate. Be considerate. Those who have sisters to be married, be considerate. Okay, because look at what if it was the other way around. Put yourself in the shoes of the other person. That way you will be very judgmental. You'll be able to request something that, if it is requested from you, you can be able to afford. That way we can all be together, and we believe it will harmonize, marriage internationally, and will encourage our boys and girls, to come together so that they can marry, and we keep our identity, we keep our traditions and things like that. Borrowing things, sometimes, if it is not a good thing, it's not good to borrow. If you borrow, it should be something good that's going to add value to what you have. But if you're going to borrow something that somebody does and it's not going to add value to what we have, it is not wise to borrow it. I think I will stop here. If there are more questions you can ask, then I will be able to.
Thank you for narration. It's really nice the way you put it. Now, maybe I have one more follow-up question regarding the Kasurubet, for example, the what do you call it, adultery fine. So it was discussed in the last youth conference that they believe that if, as you say, the example you gave is perfect. Also, even though you close with the girlfriend, or girlfriend by then, of course, before, then if nothing happened, well, that's what they say, if it didn't happen, so if the girl and the lady decided to do the right thing, nothing happened, they did not commit adultery. And why should the guy be forced to pay adultery? Because I remember we had a discussion, one of the elder was there, they say regardless of what, you have to pay that adultery. So help us to put it in the right form, of when and when not to pay a dowry. And the example also, as you put it, like if back then, like if the lady, decided to sneak, like the guys will come and sneak and go over there. But it's different these days. What about if the guy decided to write, a letter to the parent of the lady that I'm coming to your house to talk to you about your daughter? So is that still gonna, what kind of differences is that making?
Yeah, you see, that's a good question. Actually, people have been debating and battling with this issue of adultery fine for a long time. I personally, have been battling this based on the experience I had when I went to the marriage of one of my brothers who was not personally or physically present in Sudan. But we were forced to pay this adultery fine, which I really personally don't believe that it was right, because he is not physically there. So how could he have, would he have, met this girl who done something that would warrant him being, punished? Because the word fine is a punishment for having done something wrong. Because that's why, this in the Arab culture they say you went through the window, okay? Or if the girl just came to you and slept in your house, even if nothing happened, they will just consider that something happened because there's no proof. People don't go on and take exams or medical examination or physically to see whether there was, something or not. So as I said before, these are assumptions. People assume, and this is basically when the lady and the boy are together. They're like in one place, one city. People definitely will assume whether they did it or they didn't do it. They will assume that it has taken place because there's no more trust between the boys and girls these days. So based on that assumption, you'll be charged that you pay cash of debt. That's why most of these cash of debt is being paid. And if that elder that was present said, regardless of whether something happened or not, you have to pay, is based on the assumption that you are staying together in the same place, definitely something is happening.
And that brings a question of, okay, now, if I do it, I don't do it, so I'm still going to pay.
Yes.
The ladies or the guy, even though they want to do the right thing, they will not, they say, okay, why would I, even though I do it, I don't do it. Before marriage, also, we usually, for the ladies, maybe the mother or the sister, they need to put their heart down and ask, I usually, because, they can talk to somebody, I know for sure, if anything happened, because, if the guy might be furious because, he's the one paying. Of course, if I do nothing about that, if that's the purpose. But if it's for a different purpose, it's okay, because honestly, if it's the adultery fee, and if it's don't happen, there's no point of asking for adultery. And then that also, with that being said, the same thing. Let's go to this school fee, issue, because a lot of, that was one of the hardest topic too. It's understandable if you, get a girl from, while she's going to school, but there's these issues. If the girl went to school, she graduated, for example, mean that, she completed university, and then you get married, or drop out, That was another thing, It's still, you find that regardless of what they're still asking, the school fee for that, So, I mean, what needs to be done, in that instance?
Yeah, you see, the issue of school fees, that one I really don't have to argue it much, because it's meant actually to compensate the parents for having, paid this girl in school when she was in school. Or if she was graduated, still they take it that since now that she has graduated, she'll be working, and whatever she'll be getting, it will be towards the building the family of the boy. Okay, so all the benefit that she's going to be having is going to go to the other family. So they are not going to get anything anymore. That's why you pay that. But if, for example, a girl that has never gone to school at all, okay, from the village, she stayed in the village, she has never seen the class, she has never done anything, why would you pay for, why would they ask for school fees? Yeah. There will be no need of asking for school fees. But if she went to school and dropped out, you will still pay as a compensation for the period that she went to school. Yeah. Yeah. But the only thing that need to be considered is the amount. Okay? The amount should be, as I say, this is just an appreciation. Since it is an appreciation, it should be something affordable, to the boy. Because in the end, an appreciation is an appreciation. It's not a punishment. If it's a punishment for having done something wrong, it's different from, you're paying for something as an appreciation. Okay? Like, as an example I said before, if, you are asked to pay adultery fine after the girl comes to, to you or in your house or in your parents' house and stays there, for so many period, or a long period before people come and discuss these things, of course you are obliged to pay adultery fee, okay? Because the girl was already taken, it was already with you guys all this time, and you are obliged to pay the adultery fee. This one is considered a fine for having taken the girl before people sit down and discuss anything. Okay, it's a punishment. But the school fees is not a punishment. If you took her from school, really she is in school, she was not a dropout, she's going to school every day, and this is also different from when you're coming to money than or when you say impregnate her. So if you impregnate a girl while she's in school, this one, yes, you have to pay the school fees fine higher, okay? But if she's already a marriage age and you went and talked to her, she accepted, and then she decided, to drop out of school to come to you, you have not, you have not done anything wrong. Or for example, she has already graduated, she's finished school, okay? You go and you say you want to marry her. What you are paying is just a token of appreciation to the parents. What you are paying is not a fine for having spoiled her from school. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. But it should be, completely differentiated between which and which. Whether it's a fine or it's an appreciation. Just like the mother's milk, which they call aporopaminatin. It's an appreciation. It's not a punishment. Okay, what wrong have you done to the parent, to the mother, to warrant a punishment? There's nothing. Instead, you appreciate the mother for having brought up a nice lady that you want to marry. Okay, that's why they call it aporopaminatin. This is a little that I brought to you. It's an appreciation. Okay, so it's not a fine. But those ones are the things that people should differentiate between a fine and an appreciation. But the way you think most parents or most people put this thing during marriages, everything looks a punishment to you, to the boy or to the parent.
Yeah,
which is very bad.
Yeah, it is.
This is what is causing, boys feel, they are not really being treated well.
Yeah, because the thing with the school fee thing, let's talk about, for example, either we need to change the name of it, because if the lady already graduated from university, that's not a Balkan anymore, because she's already graduated.
Yes, that's right.
And then, that one, I think we debate about this, The only thing, maybe you can make the bride price, higher maybe for her. It's understandable, if you want to, like that one. But, as you say, if you get the lady pregnant during, while she was still in school, that is a big fine there.
Yes.
But again, also, if you find a lady that's already dropped off, it's not your fault. You already found her already not in school.
Yes, yes.
So those are the different things. We need to find either a different way of calling it, because if you call a Balakwan, you already graduated, or when I meet you, you are not in school. See, those are some of the stuff, I hope maybe, it can be put forward, to make things clear, because some of these guys these days, they are sensitive on the way you call things for them, Yeah. The major thing, like, that affecting people always, this entrance. And then the entrance fee, you say it's always not there. Then when you get in, the opening of the mouth, the lamp thing, that you got to, the cloth thing, you got to bring the cloth on the table.
These are things that are borrowed from the other tribes around, actually. But the issue is, some parents, they see other and the tribes do it, and then they just also, start adopting it and start doing it. So all of a sudden it became something uniform. But unfortunately enough, it's being taken as a punishment to boys, discouraging boys from marrying actually girls, which is very bad. That's why I was saying this issue should be parents, those of girls and people who have, sisters. You have to be considerate. You have to, put in consideration that, if your sister is being married, whatever is being requested of your sister should be something that you can afford if your time comes. So you put yourself in the shoes of that guy. If you think it's reasonable, then that's fine. Even parents who have daughters, they should not use their daughters as a means of getting money. It is not very good, because let's suppose they have a son, or they have boys also. Now, when this time of the sons come to marry, will they be happy if they're, the same thing is done to them? It is not going to be good. So these are the things that discourage our boys, from marrying our actually girls. the girls will be interested in marrying the Acholi boys, but the Acholi boys will tend to run away because of these extravagant prices that they are calling. So they would prefer, go and take a free girls. There are a lot of free ladies out there. They just go to court and marry. And parents also have to be very careful about this, because if the girl really loves the boy, they can just decide to go and go to court and marry without you, the parents. And what would you have done? Okay, you will never get anything at all, but we have destroyed our Acholi culture, which is not very good. What is being paid in general is just an appreciation, something that can unite the two families together and then expand the families. It should not be taken really as a means of getting money or a means of getting riches. It is not right. That's what I can say.
Well, thank you for for all your input in this topic, and it's, for me, I find it interesting. For those who didn't know or who want to get more information, of course, from now onwards we're gonna be bringing different topic. Today I'm with Fred. He did his part, and I think you did very well, and with your experience. So it's up to the parents, of course, the overall, even though tomorrow, the community passed the resolution, it goes to the parents, because what they always say that, it is my daughter that, I struggle with, That's they saying that always they cut people off with it. It's not your daughter and all that stuff. But to be considered your daughter is not gonna stay with you, Somebody have to, take her too, as you live with her mom, before. So we need, as a parents, we need to be considerate as something that is affordable. The most important thing these days is, how they live together. That's the welfare of their family first. Whatever comes after that, that's later. So until then, Fred, if you have something to summarize to the viewer, you're welcome.
I'll just say, especially for our youth, you should not be discouraged. As I said, people have felt what is happening. Me as a parent, I feel it also, because I have boys also and I have girls, and it doesn't make sense to me, if I get it from here and I pay here, or I demand here very high, and from here I want to pay something little. It doesn't make sense. What's important here is that harmony. If we can harmonize this such that it's affordable for everybody, it will really be good, because the meaning here is just an appreciation, something that will bring all of us together. It bring peace, and let the girl and the boy live happily. That's the most important thing. Priority here should not be money, but the priority should be uniting the two couples. This is what I can say. And for ladies, some ladies, when they go Sunday, they do, and people are coming, they want to come in there, to discuss issues of marriage. They will just make a block at the gate or by the door. You end up standing at the door for 6-7 hours. This is not very good. As I said before, all these things are just an appreciation. Whatever amount they are given, if you appreciate, you are standing there, you should accept it, because these things are not supposed to be a demand. It doesn't make sense. And things that are supposed not to be considered a fees or a fine should not be considered fees or a fine. People need to be realistic. It's very important. Parents, please be realistic. Girls, be realistic. Boys, yes, I would encourage you, please, get involved with your girls, so that at least we can keep our Acholi identity and our Acholi tradition. Thank you very much, and thank you for everything.
Okay, thank you. If you go back, tell them that the boys, they want to come, but they need to lose it a little bit.
I will pass the message there.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You have a good one.